in my garage, which you can probably tell. And I am going through this Gaylord, finishing up this Gaylord of CDs that I have here. And the title of the video is why, oh, I forgot. Why pay for your eBay and FBA shipping boxes? So I guess first of all, do you guys pay for them? When I was only doing FBA, only doing Amazon, I would pay for boxes at Lowe's. Yeah, Lowe's or Home Depot, usually Lowe's. I'll get the 16 by 12 boxes, I believe. That's when I was doing only books, and I would ship them out in those boxes. And that was also not only when I was only doing books, but when I was getting no. When I was sending, or when I was not getting split shipments, I should say. So doing books and not getting split shipments, and I was able to just rely on those boxes. And when I started having to do split shipments or trying to send out smaller shipments, I guess, either because I just didn't have enough to send out, enough books, or I started doing CDs as well, mixing those in with the books, and so I didn't always need the bigger boxes. I had to start figuring out where to get other boxes, and finding smaller boxes is a little more difficult, to find somewhere to buy them. Of course, you can buy them on Uline or whatever online, but I just started looking in. I don't know if I just started doing it on my own or if it was because I saw a video on YouTube or whatever, but I just started going to look at various dumpsters around town, and it was surprising to find I was surprised to find so many free boxes. And so basically the point is, why pay for the boxes when you can find them for free? Not everybody is comfortable doing this, but I think there's some misconceptions about finding free boxes in dumpsters, because maybe you think, or some people think that, oh, I have to actually jump inside. They all smell awful. The boxes are going to be dirty or covered with food or whatever it may be. But for the most part, at least where I live, I don't know, it depends on where you live, of course, but where I live, there's usually a dumpster that is exclusively for recycling. So that's usually where the boxes are and other types of things that people will recycle. So the cardboard and the paper and whatnot. And so those dumpsters are not dirty, right? They don't have like food thrown everywhere. It doesn't smell, that type of thing. Usually it doesn't require me to, I've never actually jumped into a dumpster. Usually I just kind of lean in and grab it. Things are at the top, unless it's completely empty and there's only stuff at the very bottom. And it depends on if those things, the boxes that you actually want. So that's been really, for me, I'm able to get, there's way more boxes that I could ever use or need out in the dumpsters behind businesses. So that's been something that's really helped me to have to not have to spend money on that stuff. And it's not just boxes, it's also packing materials. I frequently find bubble wrap. I find those air pillows, and then I find just packaging paper, like, just paper, regular paper. I used to buy a big thick roll of that type of paper that I would use to send FBA shipments in. I would buy it at Lowe's for like $11, $12, and that would last me for a while. But I find packaging material all over the place as well. So what I would suggest, if you want to, there's not too many people watching right now. Let's see. What's up? I think Ivan's the only one. But well, I'm glad you're here. But so for the future, people who are watching this in the future, oh, I just blanked. So yeah, so basically you have to find the dumpsters that are constantly providing the type of stuff you're looking for. So sometimes for me, I found, first of all, you have to kind of like go around where you live and find where the best dumpsters are for boxes. So some places will have only really big boxes. Some will have the smaller kinds or medium-sized size boxes, and it'll just vary. So you kind of have to find where where the best dumpsters are, and then those are the ones you can focus on, because there's some where they just don't have too many boxes. They might have one of those big recycling machines or whatever they're called, and sometimes the dumpsters are closed off. So just understand also your city that you live in or the area you live in. Some places don't allow you to go into dumpsters. I mean, usually it's okay, but there might be some places, some cities and jurisdictions and whatnot that might not want you, or it might be illegal or whatever, or trespassing. But where I live, it's fine, as long as you're not on people's, property or whatever. But basically, yeah, it's not a problem. I've never had a problem finding boxes in dumpsters. Not had a problem with people that are there, or the workers. Whoops. Hold on. Yeah, so I've never had a problem with it. I've always been able to find. Sorry guys, there's nobody watching now according to this app, so I'm just talking to myself. So when you watch this in the future, you'll understand it's kind of weird to talk to myself, but that's what I was doing before when I was editing videos, so it's the same difference. I'm just used to actually having someone watching live. I forgot what I was saying. So anyway, yeah, so find out the best dumpsters in your city or your area. I have about, let's see, I have two, three. I have four, basically. There's three that are the ones I go to mostly. There's another fourth one that I go to occasionally as well. And those usually provide enough boxes of all sizes and packing materials that I don't have to worry about going anywhere else. So it's not like you have to go all over the place. Once you find, there's certain dumpsters that and they're businesses, of course, where they just are constantly getting new shipments in of products that they sell or whatever it may be. And you're not going to have a problem, filling up your, your garage or whatever, your storage unit, whatever you need to save and keep these boxes for FBA shipments or eBay shipments. When I was doing FBA, I didn't need nearly as many different size boxes, but now that I do eBay, for the individual stuff, like individual CDs and DVDs and software and video games, etc., I use little envelopes that I bought on eBay. But when I sell more than one, if it's a lot, a grouping, a lot of CDs or DVDs or video games or whatever it is, and I'm going to need different size boxes. And also now that I'm getting split shipments with FBA regularly, I use some envelopes where I have like 5, 6, or 10 different CDs going to the same warehouse, but often I'll need to use, like a smaller size box if I have 50, 70, 100 CDs that I can fit in those smaller boxes. So I don't have to have a big box and have to cut it to size, cut it down. And also just using the packing material. So I haven't needed to I haven't spent money on boxes or packing material in a long time since I started doing, dumpster diving. It's not dumpster diving, but looking for boxes and packing materials in dumpsters. What was the other thing I was going to say about this? I totally blanked. But anyway, let's see if you guys have anything to say. Oh, okay. I've been asked, what's the best way to find books? I just go to book sales. Different topic, but for me personally, when I started doing or looking for books, the first place I went was thrift stores. And then I would say the second place was book sales, library book sales. The third place was garage sales. And then the fourth place was estate sales. Those were the four main sources for me. There's also like auctions, online auctions, in-person auctions, that type of stuff. There's people that are trying to get rid of a lot of books at once on Craigslist or on the different apps. If you can find somebody who supplies through Gaylords, then that would be a good way. But now with the higher fees and less profit on those quicker selling books, I would say thrift stores are a little more difficult. Probably book sales, garage sales, and estate sales. I would say book sales and estate sales would probably be the best route. There are people that also go to college campuses, and they go and literally knock on professors' office doors, and they say, oh, they bring a lot of money, right? And they say cash, oh, would you mind, me looking at your books? I'm a book buyer, or whatever, however they phrase it. But they build relationships with professors, and they buy much higher priced books. They pay more for the books, but they sell them for a lot. If you pay $30, $40, $50 for a book, but you can sell it for $150, it's a great return. And these books sell, these kind of textbooks as well. Some people only do that. Some people have people that work for them. They send them out to college campuses with cash and buying these books and then flipping them on Amazon, usually FBA, for a lot more money. So those are some different ways. Like I was talking about bulk, either Gaylords or also thrift store. The thing about thrift stores is you're gonna have to go through a lot of books to find the profitable ones. But the more you do it, the better you'll get at knowing which books not to look at, which books not even bother with to look up. And so if they have like several thousand books, let's say 1,000 books, maybe like 80% of them aren't even worth looking up. So you'll know most of the fiction and a lot of the kids' books. There's also good ones in those, but a lot of older type books, you'll see the same titles over and over again. So anyway, hopefully that helps you out, Ivan. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We can talk about other stuff. If you have any questions or comments, guys, let me know. I was talking about where to get free boxes, which is basically in your local dumpsters. Oh, that's what I was going to say. For me, the best businesses, so dumpsters behind businesses are, so I would avoid food. So I would avoid like restaurants and supermarkets. So any place that has food, so restaurants, supermarkets. It's really good to go to like smaller businesses, like professional businesses, right? Like lawyers' offices, doctors' offices, dentists, chiropractors, because they'll get a lot of shipments. Also like beauty salons, that type of stuff, because they'll get, other small businesses like that. They'll get a lot of shipments daily, weekly, in boxes of various sizes. Of course, there's big box stores like Staples, like Target, like Walmart. But sometimes Payless, right? Payless shoes, that's one that I found that works well. That's one of my sources. Sometimes with the bigger companies like Walmart or Target or whatever, sometimes a lot of their dumpster area will be inside of fences, or it'll be locked up, and so you can't get to it. Not all of them, but a lot of them are like that. So just kind of find, what's around where you live and what works best. South London reseller. Well, hello from London. I went to London once when I was a kid. Listening to you while listing cassettes and Bibles on eBay and Etsy. Cool. Good idea. I go to the pound shop. That makes sense. Versus Dollar Tree. Yeah, that's a good one too, because they get a lot of, I'm sure they get what I'm saying is places that don't sell food, don't sell things that, because those type of boxes usually are not good. The food boxes, by and large. Although I would say Subway, I found some decent ones behind or in some Subway dumpsters. Sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes they have some good boxes as well. But by and large, I would avoid the restaurants wherever the people are serving or selling food, fresh food. But yeah, dollar store could be good because most of the stuff there is not food. All kinds of random items that they sell at the dollar store or the pound shop. Yeah, all sizes. So if you're doing, especially if you're doing eBay, and especially if you're getting split shipments on Amazon, you're going to need different size boxes, and you're going to need packing materials. So this is a free way. It's free in terms of financially free. Of course, it takes time, but it will take time to go buy boxes and packing materials anyway. So you might as well do it for free. It's kind of fun, kind of an adventure. Usually there's not anyone near dumpsters. It's not like the dumpster is in the front of the business and everybody's staring at you, looking and pulling things out of the dumpster. It's usually behind the business. There's nobody back there. You might see the random worker going to work, leaving, taking a break, whatever, throwing something away in the trash. But by and large, there's really not anyone there. And also, if you go at certain times, like if you go at the end of the workday, or if you go early, you can find the best times when there's basically no one around. Usually after a lot of businesses have closed, it'll be great. There's no one around either. Oh, yeah, so I just got some. Oh, I just sold something on eBay. That's cool. Or something's happening. Let's see. I sold. Okay, I sold a CD. I was right when I was gonna make this video. A couple minutes before, I got a notice on eBay or my phone from eBay that I had an offer for an item, and I accepted the offer. It was a good offer, and then they paid and sold. Anyway, so that's kind of fun, making a video and seeing sales. Just sold another CD. Yeah, so I think it seems like some of you guys already do this, so I might be preaching to the choir, but there might be some newer people who don't know about it or have heard about it and are kind of wary of going to local dumpsters behind businesses, and either, you know, feeling like they'll get dirty, it'll be gross, or it'll be illegal, or people will look at you funny, or an employee will see you and say, hey, you can't be in there or whatever. And I haven't had any of those. I mean, I've had sometimes like a random person might see me and they might get a funny look, because usually people that are looking through any dumpsters, whatever they are usually, you know, homeless or whatever it is. But there's also people like us who are just looking for some free materials, and that stuff is just going to go to the recycler anyway. So might as well use it. The business doesn't want it. They're getting rid of it. So why not have us go out there and take advantage of that? South London reseller says, just got hit with £300 storage fee from FBA Amazon, thinking of giving it up. Yeah. Yeah, that's the long-term storage fee you're talking about. I don't know what you sell on Amazon, if you're selling books or what, but I guess the best way to kind of avoid that, or avoid a big long-term storage fee, is to really only send stuff in that's going to sell before the 6-month period hits, at least within 6 to 12 months, and it sells for a good profit. Otherwise, you want to have it selling pretty quickly, so it's not sitting around. And if you do that, and that takes time, if you're new or newer, it takes time to kind of figure out what is the best things to sell and what'll sell pretty quick, and you won't get hit with those big fees. That's what I've gotten better at with Amazon, with doing the CDs now, and also books. But if I send something in that has lower profits, I want to make sure that it sells within a few weeks or a month or so it's not sitting there 6 months, 8 months later. And even if I try to sell it off, I'm going to basically make no profit, and I might even be at a loss. So it's always going to happen. We're going to send stuff in, and it's just the demand goes away, or the price tanks, or, you know, the repricers, the mega sellers drop the price significantly. I mean, stuff like that happens all the time. And you can't be 100% protect yourself from that, but that would be my number one piece of advice. Another thing is to just only send in items, whether they're books or CDs or other types of stuff that you sell, toys or whatever, that have much bigger profit margin, so that if the fees hit, you're going to make up for it when you actually sell the stuff, if it's sitting there for a while. You know, yeah. Whoops. Books, shoes, beauty. I haven't learned my lesson. The margins are so thin. Only going to focus on fourth quarter now and do merchant only. Yeah, I mean, if you're having a hard time making some nice profit or good money on FBA, then try a merchant fulfilled. But you know, you just have to have the space. But if you're already doing eBay and Etsy, then you probably already have the space and the ability to store it in your house or garage or storage unit or whatever it is. So definitely that's an option to do that. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting killed with fees, then you got to work something out. You got to figure out a better plan if you're going to do FBA. The great thing about FBA, the thing that's supposed to be great about it is Amazon does so much of the work, so that once you source, list, and ship, you're done, aside from repricing, right? Or taking your items back or disposing of them. So once they have it in their hands, they're going to deal with storing it, hopefully not damaging it, and then shipping it out. And then if there's any returns, and taking the money and paying you and all of that. So, you know, that's the huge benefit. And if you're not making enough money then, I mean, why do it? Why not just keep the stuff in your own possession? Don't pay any inbound shipping fees, don't pay monthly storage fees, and don't pay long-term storage fees. And then don't pay to get your items either disposed of or sent back to you. Those are all fees that add up if the items are not selling. So to me, if it is not working for you, if you haven't found the right products or enough of the right products, then, I mean, hold off until you kind of find the good stuff that's really going to sell for nice profit or sell pretty quickly. I mean, Amazon is definitely making it a lot more difficult for small third-party sellers to make good money through FBA because of the increase in fees, and not just the FBA fees, but the long-term storage fee, the one ASIN exemption fee, one item exemption fee. I mean, you used to be able to not get hit with the long-term storage fees when you had 1,000 individual books. None of that would get hit with long-term storage fee. It would just get hit with, if you had more than one, if you had 2 or 3 copies, then those would get hit if you were going deep into a product. But, they decided that they wanted to make more money off of us, or they didn't feel things were selling quick enough and it was taking up too much warehouse space, and they wanted to use that warehouse space for items that sell quicker, that get there and they sell really fast, and just keep that process going. Whatever it is, that's what Amazon decided to do. And they're pushing out a lot of, I mean, I can't tell you this, you're another person who's saying, oh, I'm just going to stop FBA and do merchant fulfilled. I mean, you're one of probably thousands since about a year ago when the fees went up in February of 2017. Now the fees went up for books over £1, this month. So I think they went up a little over 50 cents for a book that weighs over £1, and a lot of books weigh over £1. So unless you're sending in, first of all, they're usually not hard covers. So these are soft covers that are not thick. They don't have a lot of pages. And not too many people are doing like mass market paperbacks or those, those thin books and whatnot. Sometimes there are some, but a lot of books are going to weigh over £1. So it's just another example of higher fees. Why do that when you can do merchant fulfilled? Well, the problem with merchant fulfilled a lot of times is there's so many of these mega sellers on there, Goodwill and Better World Books and all these big sellers that have the prices really low because they're selling in bulk, and so they're selling hundreds and sometimes even thousands of items a day, so they're getting huge shipping discounts from the post office or whoever they're using, and they're able to have these super low prices, and people like us can't compete with that. So it's harder, in my experience, to find merchant fulfilled or find books and CDs that I can sell for profit using merchant fulfilled. I mean, the books that the CDs that I'm sending in and some of the books FBA, I can't do merchant fulfilled because the price it's too thin. Like I just wouldn't make very much money. And the other thing is I would have to be competing with all the repricing going on, and especially with CDs. I mean, some of these guys will go down to a penny. So the CD is $4, and their shipping is clearly much less than what I'm paying for. I'm paying $2.66 media mail for a CD, and they're clearly paying, I don't know what. I have no idea, $1, less than $1, whatever it is. And they're able to make, their 50 cents or $1 an item or whatever, but times 500 sales a day, 1,000 sales a day, or whatever that may be. So how much do you make with CDs on FBA? Do you mean like per CD, how much profit, or how many CDs am I selling a month and how much am I making on the CDs total? I mean, individually it depends. So with CDs, I'll go as low as like the low $6 range. I want to make at least $1 or more per CD. And I only send in items that are $7 or under, or CDs rather, that are $7 or under if they're going to sell really fast. So yeah, I mean, profit wise for CDs, I want to make at least $1 So I'll send some of those in. Like I saw a lot at like the 695, 699 level, and these are ones that are selling really quickly. So, you know, these are CDs that are usually ranked like under 10,000. Many of them ranked under 5,000 consistently. Like, you know, not just now, but they're consistently ranked that low. So they're selling multiple copies a day. So those usually sell really quickly, either right when they hit the warehouse or within, you know, a few days, a couple weeks. If there's some dramatic change in price, maybe it'll take a month or so, but usually it's pretty quick. So I saw a good amount of those, but then I would say I'm closer to like $10 for CDs. The good thing about CDs is they're smaller, so their dimensions are smaller. They weigh, you know, next to nothing. So the fees are a little less. So for $9.95 CD that I sell, I'll make about $4.25. I should say that's what Amazon pays me. So, you know, I have to consider inbound shipping, monthly storage, and, well, of course, if there's a long-term storage fee, but I try not to get hit with those too much. So, monthly storage, and then what I paid for the CDs. I'm doing bulk, so I pay like like a nickel or so per CD. So that's not very much. So yeah, it's basically like $4 or so off of a $10 CD. Yeah. So, yeah, those are the fast movers. For CDs, I like to say generally under 100,000 for a rolling 3-month period, which is what I have on my app. It shows that. So, I believe it's 3 months. But I'll sell CDs that are ranked 100, 150,000, or even up to like high hundreds if there's very little competition. Usually if there's no FBA competition, or maybe like one, and that competitor is priced too high or whatever it may be. Because I also look at like how is it done over the whole year. You know, if it's selling a few a month and there's no other FBA offers, or there's like one, and there's not a ton of merchant fulfilled. That's the thing. If there's like 50 merchant fulfilled offers, that's just too many. But if there's like 12, maybe like a couple of new offers, and it's selling a couple times a month or so, then I'll probably send it in, assuming that I feel that I can sell it for at least like $10 or so. But usually I try to stay under 100,000. That's where I'm the most comfortable, just because I can sell it quickly. But I do come across ones that go for more money, and they just might take a little bit longer to sell. And of course, I don't mind waiting to make that sale. Yeah. So here's the item I sold. I find random stuff in the Gaylords. So here's the Gaylord that's in my house, my garage rather. You can see it. I'm probably like halfway or more done with it. I need to finish that up. So I sold this family tree maker software. When I found it in the Gaylord, I wasn't sure if anybody would want it or if it's worth anything, but I listed it for $20, got an offer for 18. They're gonna pay shipping, so that's a great deal. And there's 34 CDs in here, discs. I think it's all the discs, I'm not sure, but it seemed like it was all of them. Maybe it's missing one or so, I'm not sure. But anyway, so that's kind of like the random stuff I sell mostly on eBay. And that's the thing I like about eBay is I can find just random things like this. And I mean, this is from the year 2000. This came out in 2000 and, 18 years ago, but people want it. So I find stuff all the time that when I see it, I'm like, yeah, I don't know why somebody would want that, but probably someone wants that. I've gotten better at that with eBay. This is probably not worth something, but this is like random. The 12 lead ECG. Yeah, I have no idea. But random stuff like that, I don't know about that one. I have to look it up. But that's what's fun about eBay for me is the kind of stuff that I come across that I can do on Amazon that I can probably sell on eBay. And a lot of times, I sell it for good money. I found a video game called Neverhood, I think, which I guess is pretty popular and the price is pretty high. I think I've sold another copy of that before because it was familiar to me. And I sold it for $40 quickly on eBay. That's the thing I love about eBay is I can sell random, different / weird stuff, unique stuff. And A lot of times it'll sell right away and I get paid immediately. I don't have to wait for the money like with Amazon. But anyway, so I'm going through these CDs. Let's see. Old Adobe software does really well. I like eBay too. I really remember that. I remember that brand. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's Broderbund or something, Family Tree Maker. It does look kind of familiar. I never used it in my life, but it does look familiar anyway. I'm sure I saw it in the stores when it came out. I don't know if they're still making new software, but I'm always surprised by how much old software sells really well on eBay, whether it's like some Windows stuff or Adobe or whatever it is. Video games too. It's not surprising to me that video games do well, especially older, even older PC video games. I've sold a good amount of those. I come across that and I can kind of tell when I look at it whether it's going to be, whether I can sell it individually or I have to put it into a CD or a video game lot. But a lot of those, you know, will do well as well. Yeah, guys. So I'm gonna have to pack that up. I'm just going through. I'm going through CDs in the Gaylord. Oh yeah, these boxes here are ones that I found today. Like these ones here, the smaller ones are probably like they're going to be used for FBA split shipments. So I'll put a bunch of CDs in there. And the one in the middle is probably good for CD lots that I'm selling. I have about 5 CD lots up on eBay, and they're all around 100 CDs. So I don't need a massive box. I kind of need a medium-sized box. That box I might have to cut down. But yeah, so I kind of think of it in terms of, well, what would this box be for? Because I come across, like I just went to a dumpster and there were a ton of boxes, but I didn't need all those boxes because they were different sizes. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going through this Gaylord slowly but surely. And this was from a different source that I'm not going to go back to, that I found on Craigslist, where the guy sells DVDs and CDs in bulk, or rather he gets them in bulk and then sells them on Amazon merchant fulfilled only. And he's got a big warehouse. He said he has like several 100,000 items at any given point sitting in the warehouse, and he sells a lot a day, thousands a month. And so anyway, I bought these Gaylords off of him, and the CDs don't have barcodes for the most part, or if they do, the barcode doesn't show up in Amazon when you scan it. So, but there was a lot of them that have these kind of, the BMG kind of barcode, BMG Direct. So sometimes, or a lot of times, those will be worth some money. And so that was why I bought it, but I wouldn't do it again because it's just, there's not enough profit in it. It's too much work for the work that it takes, because there's just too much stuff in there that's, I mean, look at this one. Alan Edwards. I mean, you can tell. And you can tell by looking at the CD that it was like homemade kind of a deal. And that's great for this dude, but you know, it's not even probably listed on Amazon. Not many people want it. So there's a lot of that random stuff in there, and I have to donate a lot of that. But anyway, so I'm kind of going off topic about what I was talking about. But if you guys have any questions, let me know right this second. Otherwise, I'm going to close off the video and get back to work. I actually have to pick up my daughter from school here. So yeah, guys, that's probably it for today. I'll try to make some more videos this week. And as always, remember, guys, keep booking.